Okay, so just let's settle into our meditation posture. Mary, is the audio okay? Audio okay? Yeah, okay. If your legs are down on, if your feet are down, like if you're sitting on a chair at a desk or something, make sure that your ankles aren't crossed or knees aren't crossed. Other than that, if you're sitting in a cross-legged position, you just want to be, but you do want to be comfortable. So you can have something firm underneath your sit bones, something underneath either knee, if you've got tight hips, tight knees or sore knees. Make sure the pelvis is not tipping too far forward, too far back, or too much, not leaning too much on one sit bone or the other. You want to be nice and central. And the sit bones, sort of your coccyx, underneath your coccyx sit bones area, just slightly raised. And this really does help to align the spine. It's much more comfortable as well. Hands are in the Meditation Mudra, right hand nestled in the left, with the thumbs touching. Let's just imagine our spine is a string of pearls of light. It stretches from the base of the spine all the way up through the crown of the head. You can imagine someone is above you, very gently lengthening that spine of yours, almost like a puppet on a string. And you just want to generate some space in between your discs. Take a nice deep breath, just relax. The head is slightly tipped forward, the eyes are down looking along the length of the nose. And then the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and let's bring our attention to the crown of the head. Relax the scalp and the forehead, and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, just your whole face. Let's bring our awareness to the back of the head, your scalp. Just relax the scalp. At the occipital bone, the base of the skull, the ears, the temples and the jaw again. Let's relax the neck, the shoulders, the upper thoracic, in between the shoulder blades, the throat, the chest, the belly, the limbs, hands, fingers, the feet and the toes. Let's just bring the mind to the breath. Notice the sensation of the air as you're breathing in. It's slightly cooler than when you're breathing out, when you're exhaling. So let's just try and bring our mind to the same place our body is. So if we've been running around all day and busy, different Zooms, all our holy activities, we can rejoice in those, and we can bring our mind and settle just happy and satisfied with our day. And also we can rejoice that we didn't die today. So we had an opportunity to do all these virtuous things, no matter how many or how few you actually did. And then now we're also still alive, which means we can purify another day. That's fantastic. So we just rejoice for that. If there's any sounds in your external environment, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to be distracted by any external noise. Just keep bringing the mind back to the breath, and then notice the mind. If your mind is busy, try not to engage with it. After we've been sitting here for a while in this position, it will start to settle. So don't force yourself. Don't say like, no, don't engage, don't engage. Just kind of relax. Just give it as a gentle thought. Try not to engage. let's bring to mind all the people of our life, all our loved ones, the ones we hold dear to our heart, the ones who are not so dear to us, enemy group, and then our strangers. Just reminding ourselves that we would be really helpful for ourselves actually, if we could have equal concern for each of these groups of people. They're all the same as us in their wish to be happy and their wish to avoid suffering, and their incredible capacity for enlightenment, this unbelievable potential. So I think that we're going to do this purification practice tonight for all these people in our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So just to remind ourselves, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. Do we create negativity with our mind? We're going to create positive energy with our mind by doing this practice. So this practice is Vajrasattva in the context of the four opponent powers. And this is where we're actually using our mind to, we can sort of very well easily recite the mantra pretty quickly, but it doesn't have the same effect if we're not engaging the mind in the practice. So first of all is the power of regret. So we sincerely regret from the depths of our heart anything we have done to any living being on this day, in this life, or in all past lives. And just think of something specific, an action of the body or the speech. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. Given that we experience everything due to our past actions, having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And who wants that? So logically it would make sense to pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. Think, I am sick of this suffering. These are our delusions. And think, what can I do about it then? Who can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. And the first section here, in subheading under here, is refuge. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods we can use to purify. It's not that we need Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves, healing ourselves by relying upon his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and he's your teacher, your Lama, your trusted mentor, however you see this person, manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. This is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this Guru Vajrasattva aspect for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this white lotus, although born out of mud, they all grow in mud in India, it's untainted by mud. So it comes up to this beautiful flower. And just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but untainted by them. Vajrasattva's face is radiant and beautiful. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for us. And he has this sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. He is wearing the five-pointed crown embedded with jewels, again all made of light. And he's wearing jewelry around his neck, in his ears, earrings around his waist and arms and wrists and ankles. He has a beautiful aura of light around his head and around his body. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And there, being crossed, represents a union of these two. This symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom, and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So there's a little section here on developing compassion. In order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. And think particularly of people you have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think of the people who've harmed you and try and develop a sense of them to be free from suffering, you wish them to be free from suffering, because the harm they've caused you is going to produce suffering for them in the future. So think like this. So think, for the sake of all these sentient beings, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, the actual medicine, doing the practice and the visualization. So we're really engaging the mind here as we visualize, as we think. So first of all, we purify the body. So Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And you can imagine you're either standing on a very strong, powerful shower or under a waterfall. It comes into the crown of your head quite strongly, and it fills you, and it keeps coming in and pouring in until eventually it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So the next is a purification of the speech. And Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time, forcing up to the top of the body, all the negativity of your speech, and it kind of quite strongly, quite forcefully overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech, the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. And you can, as I've been saying, Lama Zopa Rinpoche says it's almost as if the force is like a hat being blown off the top of your head. So it's just like so imagine that, all your negative energy of speech disappearing into space as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sapokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sapokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine that it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So the next is a purification of the mind. And Guru Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light, this time from his heart chakra. And the light just kind of arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a room and you switch on a light. That light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So too, same here. As soon as the light from Guru Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all the attachment and neediness and anger, jealousy, depression, anxiety, bitterness and grudges, all instantly dispelled by this light as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech and ourselves with our mind, are totally purified. And think there is no space now in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And so next we purify the imprints of negativity of the body, the speech and the mind. And you can recite a couple of mantras for each of the visualizations of the body, speech and mind if you wish, or if that's a little bit too complicated or busy, you can just imagine that there's light and nectar pouring into you from Guru Vajrasattva's heart, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Now feel you are completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next we come to the power of resolve. And this is a really important step in the purification process. It's pretty crucial, this determination to not harm again with our body, speech, and mind. And without this determination, we're going to continue to engage in the same habits. We'll continue to do the same old things. And this determination, this aspiration to not harm, is a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. As Lama Rinpoche says, everything exists on the tip of the wish, the aspiration. So we just make a decision to refrain from some habit that we have that is harmful, that we know is harmful to both ourselves and others. And we can decide that we will refrain from this thing for 5 seconds if that's all we can manage. And that's fantastic. Just even the wish to want to, or the idea that I'm going to think about refraining from something is fantastic. So also rejoice in your efforts and rejoice in the progress that you've been making. And we just can appreciate how it does take time to change the mind, to reroute the thoughts. But we're doing it, so rejoice for that. Fantastic. So, Guru Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And Lama Yeshe used to call this union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So place your mind in that emptiness for just a moment. And we can think at whatever level we understand emptiness, we can think that all phenomena are empty, they do not exist from their own side. And perhaps the way things appear to us may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit and the positive energy you've created this evening doing this purification to all living beings, thinking may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. For Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving and spreading Majana's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers, honouring the 3 jewels, savour of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Cherub, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Wonderful, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Elizabeth and Victor.